Hi, in this case study, we're going to talk about looking at MRO, integrated supply companies' best practices, and how, again, on a mini carve-out basis, might we use some of these ideas. When big manufacturing companies with multiple locations put in huge SAP systems and they cost a fortune to put in and maintain and so forth, and where was the return on investment? The central, accounting and financial people got very excited about, global central spend management and how you could, control all of the MRO purchases all over the place, and so that was a real catalyst for putting a lot of oomph behind the idea of a sole integrated supply deal. And the main supply chain objectives that underlie integrated supply are: if we consolidate our suppliers, if we have fewer suppliers for all the stuff we're buying, then if you look at total procurement cost model, you'll notice that your paperwork goes down. You're buying more items from fewer guys, so you'd have more line items per invoice, but you'd have fewer purchase orders. You have fewer purchase orders. If you buy more stuff from fewer people, in theory, you could get better economics. You could get better guarantees. You could get better volume pricing, that kind of stuff. Secondly, when the stuff arrives, our internal people who receive it and get it to where it's consumed, they're guilty of feather bedding and playing games, and they can shut down the whole plant if they don't get the stuff there. So if we just get rid of those people, we can often have our vendors put in people who actually cost a lot less, and they do a better job because that's all they do. They're very focused at what they're doing. So let's outsource internal replenishment labor. And then because we shift the shrink, in other words, it's not our inventory till we use it. Now what happens is when it arrives here, they can get it to the final consumption point, and they don't have. It's not our problem to worry about how they hand it off and have paperwork saying handed it to B, who handed it to C, and therefore we can track who's stealing stuff, because this vendor would just be stealing stuff for themselves. So we just sort of got rid of all that. Already talked about we maximize buying economics, but also now the partners have a lot more at stake and invested, so they are going to continue, and we'll pressure them to continuously improve the inter-business process that's going on and make it ever more efficient and effective, so that we have shrinking total costs, but we have improving uptime economics kind of stuff. Now, every one of these contracts, to a certain degree, is semi-custom. The objectives are all the same, but what is the array of items that are going to be needed around a plant, and when and where, that's going to be peculiar to each plant. So each one is semi-custom, and therefore it's going to have a different labor mix, and it's going to have a different mix of items. So you're going to have your own profit and loss statement for each individual customer with your own balance sheet, because all this inventory that the customer used to buy and was sitting around their premise, that now belongs to the vendor until it's been consumed. So that now is on the vendor's balance sheet. Well, what's happened is a lot of the integrated supply guys, well, we don't need to, be in the distribution business. We'll outsource that to master distributors and only, order all the different items we need from a number of different master distributor vendors. And then in this relationship, what's the rep's role? Clearly, you have a rep who's going out and banging on doors saying, have you ever considered integrated supply? If you have, we're the ones. Let us bid on your whole deal, type of thing. But once that's happened, there is no ongoing role for the individual rep. I mean, the place is populated with vendor employees who are taking care of the replenishment process. So there is no, we're going to give you a commission on maintenance volume ever after phenomenon. So why do I tell you this? What's the moral of this story? And basically, the moral of the story is the objectives that are behind integrated supply are supply chain objectives. They're just general supply chain objectives. Everybody really should want to consolidate suppliers to the single best person. Say, how can you sell it not just to me but through me in the most effective way? Let's flowchart inter-business process and measure it and make it efficient and effective. If I give you all the volume, then obviously you're going to get, I should get buying economies. My price should go down, but your cost to serve should go down even more. And you should have ongoing incentive to continuous improvement to keep it forever and ever and ever. So, but you can't tune and tailor these custom one-off things if you don't have actual line item profit analytics insight. Otherwise, you're going to misprice them and have a problem like our friend did with the in a previous case study with $2.5 million out of the warehouse, losing $150,000. Also, how we rethink our reps. Maybe we need fewer reps of a different quality selling supply chain math. They're going to go on a salary and they're going to have some sort of incentive tied into certain performance metrics. Every stage of the life cycle, we need a different kind of sales force with a different skill set that has a different kind of compensation program. And now, instead of being all about pushing, promoting product, it's going to be more about demand replenishment for big customers buying commodities. They just want to buy it on an ever lower, better supply chain basis. So these concepts we have to be familiar with and preach and practice ourselves. Thank you.